You would have to agree that solving this particular problem is like baking a cake. It requires the right ingredients, a bit of precision, and the end result is pretty sweet. I think that looking at each test question this way would be like looking at baking a piece of mosaic of your knowledge, contributing to the bigger picture of your abilities. In this question, you're presented with the set of gears, and you need to determine the direction of the last gear. Your choices for answers are choice A, CW, choice B, CCW, choice C, no movement, and last but not least, choice D, depends on X. Feeling challenged by this question? I totally understand. Remember though, that you are not navigating this path alone. Whether you're a problem-solving expert or a newcomer, I have full faith in your capabilities. Take a moment to gather your thoughts, tap into your imaginative side, and let's triumph over this challenge together. Your solution is almost ready and is definitely within reach. Are you ready with your solution? I hope you are. So let's move forward and compare our versions of the answer. Together, we will unravel the complexities of this assessment test question. I'll ask you for a favor though, and specifically to share your thought process in comments. Your insights might hold the key for all of us to learn and improve. To solve this question, we need to identify which gear is the input, which one is connected to the power source, and which one is the output gear, the final gear that performs the desired task. In the next step, we need to identify the direction of rotation for each gear. Gears can rotate clockwise, this is where abbreviation CW comes from, or counterclockwise, this is what CCW stands for. Let's solve this challenge by following the transfer of rotation from one gear to another. Our first input gear is rotating in clockwise direction. As you might be well aware, when rotation is transferred to another gear, it will be rotated in the opposite direction, which would be counterclockwise. Let's follow the directions for each gear. Input 1 is clockwise, then counterclockwise, clockwise again, counterclockwise again, clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise, and the output gear is rotating in clockwise direction. Let me show you alternative way how you can solve it faster. For example, if the number of gears in between input and output is odd, the last gear will rotate in the same direction as input gear. On the other hand, if the number of gears is even, the last gear will rotate in the opposite direction from the first gear. Let's look at the example. Let's look at the odd number of gears. The simplest odd number is 1. The rotations transferred from input clockwise to the next gear counterclockwise and then to the output, which would be clockwise again. On the other hand, if there's an even number of gears in between input and output, and the smallest even number is 2, you see how rotation converts from input clockwise to the opposite to input counterclockwise at the output gear. With this in mind, let's solve this challenge alternative way. Let's count number of gears in between input and output. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gears. And since there are 7 gears in between input and output gears, which is odd number, the direction of output gear will be the same as the direction of the input gear. So the correct answer here is choice A, CW, clockwise. Without a doubt, solving this problem is as tricky as trying to organize a chaos of rubber ducks in a bathtub. It's a quirky situation, but finding order is a real victory. I wonder though if this question is secretly evaluating our skills to bring order to a seemingly chaotic environment. We are entering the world of 4 squares, which have chaotically organized shapes inside. We're dealing with hollow circle, triangle, and smiley face. 4 squares have shapes in place. You need to determine the value of the 5th square, which you need to select out of 4 possible choices. Choices A, B, C, and D. If your mind feels chaotic and a little bit disorganized, you are not alone. I feel exactly the same way. But that's okay. Whether you're a seasoned solver or a casual questions explorer, I have full faith in your problem-solving abilities. Give it a time it deserves, think out of the box, and watch the pieces fall into place. I have full confidence that you've got what it takes. Are you ready with your solution? Or at least excited to bring order into chaotic environment? Let's tackle this puzzle together and explore the complexities and how to solve them. And don't forget to share your thoughts, ideas, and brilliance in comments. Your solution might be just the breakthrough we need. As you might have guessed, to solve this challenge, you need to identify the pattern. In fact, there are 3 patterns present in this problem. Pattern number 1 is that smiley face in the middle of the square alternates the backgrounds. Pattern number 2 is that hollow circle moves alternative directions with the incremental step for each subsequent move. And pattern number 3 is that triangle moves clockwise with double incremental steps. Let's look at the smiley face first, because that's the easiest pattern. We see that in the shape 1, smiley shape is dark gray, then it becomes white, then it's dark gray again, and in the shape 4, it's white again. So in shape 5, we can predict that it's going to be dark gray again. Unfortunately, it doesn't help us much because all choices A, B, C, and D, they have smiley face in a dark gray color. Let's look at the hollow circle. Hollow circle moves 1 step from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock position with increment +1. In the next square, it moves 2 steps counterclockwise from 12 o'clock to 9 o'clock with increment +2. Then it moves 3 steps clockwise from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock with increment +3. So we can predict that hollow shape in shape 5 will move 4 steps counterclockwise from 1 o'clock to 8 o'clock with the increment +4. It helped us narrow down the answer choices, but we still have choices A, C, and D that still match this pattern. So to solve this mystery and bring order into this disorderly situation, we need to look at the triangle. Triangle moves clockwise with the double increment. It's only positioned in the corners, and the increments are +1, where triangle moves from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. The next increment is +2, where triangle moves from 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Then +4, where triangle, in fact, stays back at 11 o'clock, because +4 means the full circle. And the next one would be +8. This is the final shape 5, where triangle will also be in the same spot. Based on this, we can conclude the correct answer is choice A. Hopefully you've nailed this question on your own and now know how to answer similar problems on the test. And now it's time for you to seize the moment. But you would have to agree that explaining this particular question related to data analytics to your grandma is like decoding a complex algorithm with a punchline. The interpretation might be fuzzy, but the laughter is always in the regression. You're presented with 4 words, and you need to identify all words that are misspelled. The choices are choice A, concatenation, choice B, normalization, choice C, aggregation, and last but not least, choice D, duplication. It's all you now. You need to solve this challenge and drop your solutions in comments. I am very curious to see what you will come up with and ready to offer my feedback. Thanks for being part of this, and best of luck tackling this exciting challenge. Let's face it, navigating this question is like convincing a cat to take a bath. A tricky endeavor, but once you soak in the solution, it's a clean success. This assessment might be measuring our ability to handle slippery math expressions. In fact, you're presented with 3 of those expressions. The first one is 23 multiplied by 23 equals 25. The second one is 25 multiplied by 25 equals 49. And the third one is where you need to find the missing number. The expression is 27 by 27, and the result of it you need to select out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 64, choice B, 72, choice C, 76, and last but not least, choice D, 81. Feeling a bit stuck? Well, guess what? You're not alone. I feel exactly the same way. But I'm the firm believer that you've got this. Whether you're a seasoned problem solver or just starting out, I know you can do it. Take a deep breath, approach it with creativity, and let's navigate through this challenge together. Your breakthrough is just around the corner. Are you ready with your solution? Well, or at least excited about this mental workout. Let's tackle this puzzle and explore the complexities together. And don't forget to share your brilliance, insight in comments. Your solution might be just the breakthrough we need. Did I warn you that this expression is slippery? In the typical world, 23 multiplied by 23 equals 529. But to solve this problem, we need to think out of the box. And instead of using traditional math, you need to sum up the digits and multiply the result of the sum operation. Let's look at the example. For example, 23 by 23 would be 2 plus 3 in parentheses, multiplied by 2 plus 3 would be 5 multiplied by 5, and the result of this would be 25. The second expression would be 2 plus 5 in parentheses, multiplied by 2 plus 5 in parentheses, would be equal 7 by 7 would be equal 49. So the missing number could be calculated as 2 plus 7 multiplied by 2 plus 7, which would be equal 9 multiplied by 9, or 9 squared, and would be equal to 81. So the correct answer here is choice D, 81. And now it's time for you to seize the moment. You need to tackle this question independently and showcase your brilliance. You're presented with 4 shapes, and you need to determine which shape has the longest perimeter. Your answer should be one of 4 possible choices. Choices A, B, C, and D. It's all about you now. Solve the challenge, then drop your solution in the comments. I'm curious to see what you come up with and ready to offer feedback. Thanks for being part of this, and best of luck tackling this exciting challenge. When I looked at this question, I realized that deciphering it is like teaching fish to ride a bicycle. Solving this challenge seems improbable, but with enough patience and creativity, who knows what might happen. You're presented with the circle, which is broken down into 8 sections. Each section has a number inside. Starting from 11 o'clock, counterclockwise, the numbers are 72, 52, 43, 23, 49, 25, 64, and then comes the missing number, which you need to calculate and select out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 8, choice B, 16, choice C, 48, and last but not least, choice D, 72. Are you feeling a bit stuck? I have full confidence that you've got this. Whether you're a seasoned problem solver or just starting out, I know that you can do it. Take a deep breath, approach it with creativity, and let's navigate through this challenge together. Your breakthrough is much closer than you think. Are you ready? Well, ready or not, it's time to solve this mystery. Let's dive into solving this question together, and make sure to contribute your own version of the solution in comments. Your unique insights might be just what we need to conquer this mystery. To solve this challenge, let's draw a vertical line in the middle of the circle. You have numbers on the left, 72, 52, 43, and 23. And as you might have guessed, numbers on the left are the input numbers to calculate numbers in the section across on the right side. And numbers on the right are calculated as a first digit in the power of the second digit. Let's look at the example. The number on the left is 72. Number in the opposite section right across is 49. 7 in the power of 2 is 49. This is how 49 was calculated. Let's look at the other numbers. 5 in the power of 2 is 25. 4 in the power of 3 is 64. Then to calculate the missing number, we need to take 2 in the power of 3, which would be equal to 8. So the correct answer here is choice A, 8. I have to admit the truth. Figuring out this question is like convincing a toddler to share their toys. It requires a delicate balance of persuasion, some strategic thinking, and most likely few moments of pure chaos. Speaking about chaos, here in this question, we need to figure out 2 answers instead of just 1 answer. Let's look at the specifics. You're presented with 3 by 3 matrix. Matrix has numbers inside. The numbers in the first row are 32, 17, and 63. In the second row, numbers are 25, 64, and 81. And in the third row, there is only 1 number, and 2 numbers are missing, which you need to calculate and select out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 181. Choice B, 144 and 100. Choice C, 64 and 36. And last but not least, choice D, 25 and 100. If you think that convincing toddler to share their toys is easier, think again. Don't get discouraged here. We support each other in this channel, and I have full confidence that you can solve it. Just make sure to give yourself enough time to solve this particular challenge. Are you ready? Because I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. If you haven't noticed, staying open-minded is something we teach you on this channel. And the key consideration here is that information might be misleading. I presented the data as rows 1, 2, and 3, but the calculations are happening in the columns 1, 2, and 3. You always need to consider that possibility. You also need to consider that layered calculations could be involved. Layered would mean that one calculation would be happening after another. For example, you can have addition as well as squared. And in fact, the calculations are organized in columns here. And the sum of numbers squared in the top row leads to the calculated value in the next row. Let's look at the example in the first column. 3 plus 2 squared equals 5 squared and equals 25. 2 plus 5 squared equals 7 squared and equals 49. In the second column, the values are calculated as 1 plus 7 squared equals 8 squared and equals 64. 6 plus 4 squared equals 10 squared and equals 100. And if you haven't noticed, we just calculated the first missing value, 100. So let's jump to the third row. In the third row, the calculations are 6 plus 3 squared plus 9 squared equals 81. And the missing value in the third row is calculated as 8 plus 1 squared equals 9 squared and equals 81. Pay attention and notice that the third column has two numbers, 81. Make sure you verify your calculation and avoid confusion. So the correct answer here is choice A, 181. Well, let's do something different now. Let's test how well you are absorbing the material. I have a question for you to practice your skills. With this question, the spotlight is on you. Take the lead in solving this question on your own terms and post your answer in comments so I can share with you my feedback. I have full confidence that you will shine with your brilliance right now by solving this challenge. You're presented with three expressions. The third expression is missing the result. The first expression is 23 multiplied by 32 equals 32. Second expression is 25 multiplied by 52 equals 50. And the third expression is 27 multiplied by 72 equals, and then comes the missing number, which you need to calculate and select out of four possible choices. Choice A, 73. Choice B, 74. Choice C, 75. And last but not least, choice D, 76. Tackle this challenge on your own and then share your solution in the comments. I'm looking forward to discussing your answer and providing some feedback. Thanks for getting involved and good luck with this intriguing challenge. With this question, get ready for the mental marathon. Solving this puzzle is a little longer than wait for your pizza delivery, but you will enjoy it as much as the freshly made pizza. You're presented with the sequence of numbers. The numbers are 21, 35, 41, 59, 61, 83, and then comes the missing number, which you need to calculate and select out of four possible choices. Choice A, 81. Choice B, 85. Choice C, 87. And last but not least, choice D, 89. Inspect it with precision to uncover the hidden answer. Give yourself enough time to make sure you can solve the challenge. Are you ready? Let's dive in and unravel this challenge together. I'll share with you my solution, and if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. What's interesting about this problem is that all numbers you see on the screen are multiples of 11, with two different arithmetic operations applied based on the sequence. Let's look at the existing items to better understand the sequence. For example, the first number is calculated as 11 multiplied by 2 minus 1, which equals 21. The second number is calculated as 11 multiplied by 3 plus 2, which equals 33 plus 2, which equals 35. The first number is 11 by 4 minus 3 equals 41. Then comes 11 multiplied by 5 plus 4 equals 59. Then we multiply 11 by 6 and subtract 5, and the result equals 61. 11 by 7 plus 6 equals 83, and the missing number is calculated as 11 multiplied by 8 minus 7, which is 88 minus 7, which is 81. So the correct answer here is choice A, 81. It's time to grab your favorite thinking snack. Preferably not too crunchy though, as we're trying to focus here, because we're about to tackle a question that is challenging as resting to urge to eat the cookies. You're presented with 5 squares, and 6 square is missing. Obviously, there's a pattern here, and once you determine the pattern, you need to select your answer out of 4 possible choices. Choices A, B, C, and D. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. I think I'm ready to share with you my answer. But remember, as we embark on this intellectual adventure, remember sharing answers is caring. But I'll totally understand if you want to keep your genius strategy as a secret and not share it in comments. To better understand the answer, let's add 3 columns. Columns 1, 2, and 3. What you probably already know by now is that the picture in the 3rd column, column 3, is a result of the combination of merging the first 2 columns, columns 1 and 2. There are 2 merging rules applied here. Let's start with the small square in the first row in the upper left corner. The small square is darker color. In the 2nd column, the small square is also dark. So when we merge dark color and dark color, we end up with the white color. And the second merging rule is that if colors for the locations are different, it becomes a darker color. To answer the question, knowing these rules, all you need to do is switch to the row 2 and determine the combination for the column 3. So the correct answer here is choice C, which is a result of the combining small squares in 2nd row for columns 1 and 2. Do you know what time is it? It's time for your solo quest through this maze of the intellect. And keyword here is solo. Solving this question, though, is like navigating through the maze blindfold, challenging, a bit disorienting, and probably not recommended. You're presented with the sequence of numbers, and you need to calculate the missing number. The numbers you see are 14, 17, 28, 11, 41, 71, 82, and then comes the missing number, which you need to calculate and select out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 95. Choice B, 72. Choice C, 11. And last but not least, choice D, 10. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. Once you solve this challenge independently and conquer the maze, you need to share your victorious solution in comments. I am eager to review them and provide you with my feedback. Thanks for participating and good luck solving this challenge. Believe it or not, but deciphering this question feels like trying to understand cats' mood swings. Complicated and probably impossible. But in this channel, we support each other and have full confidence that you will persevere in this challenging task. You're presented with 3x3 matrix. The matrix has numbers inside. The numbers are 3, 4, and then comes the missing number, followed by 6, 12, and 20, followed by 12, 36, and 80. You need to select your answer out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 3. Choice B, 4. Choice C, 7. And last but not least, choice D, 5. What makes this question interesting is the fact that it's a little unusual from the other ones. I'll explain it later, but for now, just focus on solving it. Give yourself enough time to come up with the solution. Are you ready? I am going to continue this adventure, and if you have an idea of how to understand cats' mood swings, or maybe have better ideas how to solve this question, make sure to post in comments. Remember I told you about unusual way of solving this question. Typically, missing number is calculated number, but in this case, missing number is one of the source numbers used for the calculations. The good thing is once you consider this, the pattern here is very simple. The left column number is multiplied by an increment and equals middle column number. And then middle column number multiplied by an increment equals the right column number. Increment is set per row. For example, for the top row, the increment is 2. For the middle row, the increment is 3. And for the bottom row, the increment is 4. Let's look at the calculations to better understand this example. Let's look at the first row. We have numbers 3, 6, and 12. 3 multiplied by 2, which is an increment, equals 6. Then 6 multiplied by 2 equals 12. For the middle row, the calculations are 4 multiplied by 3, which is the increment for the middle row, equals 12. 12 multiplied by 3 equals 36. And for the last row, we have our missing number, which is 5. 5 multiplied by 4 equals 20, and 20 multiplied by 4 equals 80. So the correct answer here is choice D, 5. Brace yourself for a question that's a little tougher than deciding what to watch on Netflix. No pressure though. You need to calculate the original price of the item, which was discounted by 20%, and the new price of the item is $72. Make sure you calculate it and select your answer out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, $90. Choice B, $93. Choice C, $96. And last but not least, choice D, $99. Well, let me give you a hint. If you think you know all the marketing tricks, and you think that all original prices are $99, you might be up for a surprise. Because of this, let's embark on this mental journey together. I promise you no spoilers, just the mathematical twists and turns to keep us on our toes. The key to solving this challenge is to understand percentages. You need to recognize that a discount of 20% means that the price is 80% of the original. Let's set up an equation to represent the relationship between the original price, the discounted percentage, and the final price. There are 2 types of equations that you can set up, or maybe more. Maybe you can think of some more and share them in comments. The first one I created is x, which is the original price, minus 0.2 multiplied by x equals 72. Second equation might be 0.8x equals 72. To solve this equation and calculate x, we need to divide 72 by 0.8. So the final answer is $90. The tip I would like to leave you with is always double check your solution by plugging in the original price back into the problem to ensure it satisfies all given conditions. Let's do it together. Because our answer is 90, let's verify it. 90 minus 90 multiplied by 0.2 equals 90 minus 18, which equals 72. So the correct answer here is choice A, 90. With this question, prepare yourself for a cognitive challenge that promises to engage your intellect more than a challenging crossword puzzle. It's a mental marathon, and your brain is a star athlete here. You're presented with 4 circles. 3 circles has numbers. The numbers are 125, 49, 146, and then comes the missing number that you need to calculate. Let me point your attention to one factor that may or may not be important. The circles are connected with the lines. I will let you decide on the importance of this factor yourself. After you determine the calculation strategy, you need to select your final answer out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 56, choice B, 64, choice C, 81, and last but not least, choice D, 92. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. Make sure to give yourself enough time, as the answer may not be obvious. Are you ready? Let's move forward and dive into the details of this cognitive puzzle together. Since we all think differently, afterward, feel free to share your solution in comment section as well, so we can all learn. Typically, when we see the number, we think of the number as a whole, but not in this particular question. In this question, the pattern is very unique. You need to use the digits in the left circle to create a subtraction expression. Calculated value of this expression is squared to calculate the value on the right. Let's look at the examples. For example, in the first row, we see numbers 125 on the left and number 49 on the right. But instead of treating 125 as a single whole number, we need to create an expression, 12 minus 5, which would be equal to 7, and 7 squared equals 49, which is exactly the number on the right. The tip here for you is when you see similar questions on a real test, consider breaking down numbers into smaller digits and doing mental math calculations with these digits. To calculate the missing value, let's look at the numbers 146 on the left and number 64 on the right. From 146, let's build an expression. 14 minus 6 equals 8, and 8 squared equals 64. So the correct answer here is choice B, 64. Now, get ready to flex those brain muscles in a workout that's more mentally stimulating than a Sudoku puzzle, and possibly even more satisfying when you crack it. You're presented with the series of numbers. The first number is 16. Second number is 4 times smaller than the first one, and the third number is 3 times larger than the second one. You need to calculate the sum of all 3 numbers and select your answer out of 4 possible choices. Choices A, 30, B, 32, C, 36, and last but not least, choice D, 40. Take a close look to see if you can solve this puzzle. Are you ready? Let's move forward and dissect this problem together to see if your solution is better, and of course, if it is, please make sure to post it in comments. Oops, I forgot to mention that calculations should be done without the calculator. So let's exercise your mental brain power. To calculate second number, we need to divide first number by 4. 16 by 4 equals 4. Third number is calculated as 4 multiplied by 3 and equals 12. So the sequence of numbers now is 16, 4, and 12. Now we need to calculate the sum of all 3 numbers. And the tip I would like to leave you with is you need to pay attention to what is being asked in the question and always verify your calculations. Getting back to our sum of 3 numbers, 16 plus 4 plus 12 equals 32. So the correct answer here is choice B, 32. And now I have a question for you. But hey, I gotta warn you, trying to understand this particular question is like explaining the internet to your grandparents. A mix of confusion, patience, and a hint of disbelief that there is a right answer in the end. You're presented with the sequence of numbers. The numbers are 2, 7, 17, 37, and then comes the missing number, which you need to calculate and select out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 57, choice B, 67, choice C, 77, and last but not least, choice D, 87. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the solution. And as I mentioned, this is your time to shine. Once you've solved this challenge, please make sure to post your answer in comments. This will give me an opportunity to comment on it and give you my feedback. Thanks for participating and good luck solving this question. With this question, I'd like to welcome you to the mental playground. This particular question is so delightful, it makes you solving it feel like finding the last slice of pizza at a party. Challenging, rewarding, and everyone wants a piece. About the pieces though, in this particular question, you need to fill the shape with 3 piece combinations. You need to find the combination that perfectly fits the target shape. And you need to select this combination out of 4 possible choices. Choices A, B, C, and D. Being an existing subscriber or potentially a future subscriber, I have full confidence that you can solve this challenge by giving yourself enough time to think about it. Are you ready? Let's compare the results of your amazing thinking with what I think might be a possible solution to ensure that you've got the right answer. Even though this problem seems complicated, I'm going to show you how to solve it in 3 simple steps. Step 1. In this problem, we have a target shape and we have 3 puzzle pieces for each answer. In step 1, we need to examine each puzzle piece and target shape very closely. Make sure you take note of all the shapes, angles, and how they can potentially fit together. In step 2, you need to experiment with rotating and flipping puzzle pieces. Sometimes, a piece that initially seemed incompatible can fit perfectly when you rotate it or when you flip it. And then in the step 3, you need to make sure you use the entire space within the target object and cover all the squares. Consider how each piece contributes to the overall completion of the target shape. You're probably eager to learn what the final answer is. The answer is choice B. I'm pretty sure you've guessed it right. The 3-step methodology I shared with you work very well for these types of question. But I am going to share with you an amazing tip and trick on how you can expedite the process. There is a simple math trick we can use to accelerate finding the right solution. Take a close look to see how target shape is broken down into squares. There are 13 squares inside. Now let's count the squares in each one of the choices. The choice A has 12 squares, choice B has 13 squares, choice C has 12 squares, and choice D has 13. Using this simple trick, you can quickly eliminate choices A and C and work with remaining choices to find the correct answer. Here's a very interesting problem which shows how well you can do mental calculations. It will take another 5 minutes for the clock to strike 4 o'clock. How much time is left until the clock shows 4:45? You're presented with 2 clocks. One shows 5 minutes before 4 o'clock. Second one shows 4:45. And you need to select the answer out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 11 hours and 50 minutes. Choice B, 12 hours and 10 minutes. Choice C, 11 hours and 10 minutes. And last but not least, choice D, 10 minutes. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And if for whatever reason you think the answer should be different, please make sure to post your answer, solution and rationale in comments. Let's first determine how much time is actually on the clock. Based on the description, it will take another 5 minutes for the clock to strike 4 o'clock, which means that the clock now shows 3:55. Our next described point on the clock will be 4:45, which could be represented as 15:45, and clock will reach this point after around 12 hours to show 3:45 again. In the military time, which is frequently used in US, it's going to be 15:45, and it's going to be a little bit less than 15:55. Let's determine how much less than 12 hours it's going to be. Since the clock already passed 10 minutes from 3:45 to 3:55, it will take 10 minutes less than full 12 hours. This is why we can subtract 10 minutes from 12 hours to get to the answer of 11 hours and 50 minutes. So the correct answer here is choice A, 11 hours and 50 minutes. Did you get to the same answer? If not, please make sure to post your answer and rationale in comments. Here's the very interesting question, which is frequently used to test your analytical reasoning and spatial reasoning. You're presented with the set of objects, and you need to find the missing item. The set of objects consists of 3 rows. In the first row, you see the pigeon, arrow, and then the pigeon again. In the second row, you see the flower, arrow, and then the flower again. Then in the third row, you see the car, the arrow, and then comes the missing item. You need to select the missing item out of 4 possible choices. Choices A, B, C, and D. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the solution. If you can't figure it out, consider pausing this video to see if you can get to the answer. Are you ready? I am moving forward to share with you my version and my rationale for the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, or if you have a better explanation, please make sure to post in comments. The actual answer to the question is very simple, but the question was designed to confuse you. The objects that you see on the left of the arrow and on the right of the arrow are reflections of each other. What's interesting here is that the objects are mirror images reflected either horizontally or vertically. You determine the axis of reflection based not on the direction of the arrow, but based on the direction which is rotated 90 degrees to the direction actually shown. Let's look at the actual example. Because the direction of the first arrow in the first row goes from top to bottom, the pigeon actually is reflected horizontally, not vertically. And to get to the correct answer, you need to rotate the pigeon 180 degrees. Let's look at the second object. We see the flowers with the yellow flower being on the left. And once we do the conversion, basically vertical reflection, because the arrow goes from left to right. We see that the yellow flower is now on the right. So the pattern here is that the arrow points to perpendicular direction of the actual reflection. For example, vertical direction of the arrow results in horizontal reflection and vice versa. Let's look at the third row to get to the correct answer. Because arrow goes from top to bottom, we need to use horizontal reflection, which means that the correct answer here is choice A. Did you get to the same answer? If not, please make sure to post your answer and rationale in comments. Let's explore this mind-boggling assessment test together. This question goes beyond typical assessment and validates your attention to details, as well as your practical problem-solving techniques. You're presented with 3 expressions, and you need to find the fourth one. The first expression is 1 by 2 plus 3. The second expression is 2 by 3 plus 4. The third expression is 3 by 4 plus 5. The fourth expression would need to be selected and rationalized out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 3 by 5 plus 4. Choice B, 4 by 5 plus 6. Choice C, 6 by 5 plus 4. And last but not least, choice D, 7 by 4 plus 5. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. Did you find your answer? I think I discovered my solution, so let's go ahead, move forward, and dissect our problem-solving methods together. I'm eager to share with you my step-by-step process and encourage you to contribute your own ingenious insights in comments. The way I see the answer is that we need to ignore the mass signs, multiplication and plus signs, and focus on the numbers themselves. Because the pattern here is actually the sequence of numbers in each row. For example, let's take a look at the row 1. The numbers are 1, 2, 3. In second row, the numbers are 2, 3, and 4. In the third row, the numbers are 3, 4, and 5. So what we see is that the number in the next row starts with the middle number of the previous row, which means that correct numbers for the row 4 would be 4, 5, and 6. So the correct answer here is choice B, 4 by 5 plus 6. Get ready to test your own brain muscles. This question is making you think harder than a coffee addict trying to function without her morning brew. Can you seep your way through this mental maze and solve it on your own? You're presented with the ball located on the top of the stairs. As ball moves through the stairs, it changes the number. The first number in the ball is 2. Next number, as it drops to the next stair, is 6. Then it's 14, then it's 30, and then comes the missing number, which you need to calculate on your own and select out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 56. Choice B, 60. Choice C, 62. And last but not least, choice D, 64. You need to embark on this mental adventure mission solo. And once you've conquered the challenge, share your triumph in comments for a lively discussion. I am eager to hear your Arabica-flavored solution. And remember, once you're done, treat yourself with the great coffee. You truly deserve a great treat after solving this challenge. Here's an amazing question to test your spatial reasoning. You're presented with the 3-dimensional view, and you need to select view from the opposite side out of 4 possible choices. The choices are A, B, C, and D. Take a close look to see if you can select the right solution. Please look closely, as it may not be as easy as it seems. Are you ready? Because I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And if you have a better way to solve it, obviously please make sure to post in comments. If your answer to this question was choice C, you answered it correctly. There are 4 objects on the original 3-dimensional image. We have a duck, we have a basketball, we have a smartphone, and we have a hammer, which is barely noticeable on the original picture. And the easiest way to solve this challenge is to select one object and track it on the opposite side. I selected a duck, but you can as well select a hammer or a smartphone. It is a little bit harder with the ball because it's in the middle and it's a symmetrical object. So let's go back to the duck. If you look at the original image, you see that the duck is looking to the left, and it is on the left side of the ball, which means that if we look from the opposite side, the duck will be looking to the right and would be on the right side of the ball. We frequently see these types of questions on the test, so to help you solve these types of challenges, here are the views of these objects from different sides. Take a look at these objects from the right, from the left side, and take a look at this set of objects when duck and the ball have changed the position. I wanted to ask you, did you get to the same answer? If not, please make sure to post your answer and solution in comments, as well as you can supplement it with some tips on how to solve these types of challenges. With this question, I'd like to welcome you to the mental playground. This particular question is so delightful, it makes you solving it feel like finding the last slice of pizza at a party. Challenging, rewarding, and everyone wants a piece. About the pieces though, in this particular question, you need to fill the shape with 3 piece combinations. You need to find the combination that perfectly fits the target shape. And you need to select this combination out of 4 possible choices. Choices A, B, C, and D. Being an existing subscriber or potentially a future subscriber, I have full confidence that you can solve this challenge by giving yourself enough time to think about it. Are you ready? Let's compare the results of your amazing thinking with what I think might be a possible solution to ensure that you've got the right answer. Even though this problem seems complicated, I'm going to show you how to solve it in 3 simple steps. Step 1. In this problem, we have a target shape and we have 3 puzzle pieces for each answer. In step 1, we need to examine each puzzle piece and target shape very closely. Make sure you take note of all the shapes, angles, and how they can potentially fit together. In step 2, you need to experiment with rotating and flipping puzzle pieces. Sometimes, a piece that initially seemed incompatible can fit perfectly when you rotate it or when you flip it. And then in the step 3, you need to make sure you use the entire space within the target object and cover all the squares. Consider how each piece contributes to the overall completion of the target shape. You're probably eager to learn what the final answer is. The answer is choice B. I'm pretty sure you've guessed it right. The 3-step methodology I shared with you work very well for these types of question, but I am going to share with you an amazing tip and trick on how you can expedite the process. There is a simple math trick we can use to accelerate finding the right solution. Take a close look to see how target shape is broken down into squares. There are 13 squares inside. Now let's count the squares in each one of the choices. The choice A has 12 squares, choice B has 13 squares, choice C has 12 squares, and choice D has 13. Using this simple trick, you can quickly eliminate choices A and C and work with remaining choices to find the correct answer. What's interesting about the question I'm about to present you is that it truly tests your analytical skills. You need to determine which number comes next in the sequence, and you're presented with the sequence of 6 numbers where 7th number is missing. The sequence is 23, 11, 20, 12, 18, 14, and then comes the missing number, which you need to select out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 17. Choice B, 16, choice C, 22, and last but not least, choice D, 20. Take a close look, maybe do mental math calculations to see if you can come up with the answer. Seems unsolvable, isn't it? But be sure that the answer will look so simple as soon as I reveal it, just like in the magic trick. Maybe give yourself additional 15 to 20 seconds to see if you can come up with the answer. Are you ready? Because on my end, I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. If you are a frequent visitor or a subscriber to this channel, you know the rule. And rule is to find the pattern. But in this particular question, there are 2 independent patterns. Let's look closely so I can share them with you. The numbers 23, 20, 18, and 17 represent first pattern. And the next number is calculated by subtracting decrementing number from the previous number. Let's look at the example. 23 minus 3 equals 20. 20 minus 2 equals 18. You see that the 3 is decremented by 1 to get to 2. The next number is calculated as 18 minus 1, which is decrement from 2, equals 17. The even numbers, 11, 12, 14, and then the missing number, are calculated using the different pattern. In fact, the opposite pattern, where instead of decrement, we use increment. Let's look at the examples. 11 plus 1 equals 12. Then we increase 1 by additional number, and we increment 12 by 2, which leads us to a result of 14. Then the next number, the missing number, is calculated as 14 plus 3, which would be equal to 17. So the correct answer here is choice A, 17. Did you get to the same answer? If not, please make sure to post your answer and solution in comments. And now you can challenge yourself with this puzzling assessment test question by keeping in mind, though, that the process of finding the answer sharpens your ability to strategize and devise efficient solutions. You're presented with 3x3 matrix. Matrix consists of large squares, and each large square has 4 small squares inside. Small squares follow some sort of pattern, and this is something you need to determine and select the missing answer, which is the 9th square out of 4 possible choices. Choices A, B, C, and D. Take a close look, maybe pause this video to see if you can come up with the answer. I think I found my version of the answer, and I'm looking forward to share with you my problem-solving strategies. Let's dive into the solution together, and as usual, if you have any unique ideas, please share them in comments for everyone's benefit. To better understand the rows, let's mark each one of them with the letter. From top to bottom, the rows will be A, B, and C. Now let's look closely at the darker squares in the row A. From left to right, the darker square shifts clockwise when we go to the next item. For example, in the leftmost column, the darker square is in the upper right, then it shifts in the lower right, then it shifts to the lower left. If you look closely, the pattern continues in the row B. One important tip for you to solve these types of problems on your own is to look for the shapes shifting in clockwise or counterclockwise patterns to determine the final solution. Once we've determined the pattern, we know how to solve this challenge. The correct answer here will be choice B, where the next darker square will be in the upper right corner. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you for helping us to become one of the largest YouTube channels to help people become smarter, increase your IQ, and to pass any test. If the content of this video was helpful, please make sure to click the like button to help YouTube algorithm promote this video and help other people to find it faster. Giving us a like is also a way for you to tell us that you need more content like this, and when you tell us, we will deliver it for you in the future. For links to free and premium resources, please check the description and comments of this video. You can also go directly to our website, howtoanalyzedata.net, to download the materials related to this topic. I really appreciate your endorsement, support, and patronage of this channel. And thank you for considering to become a member and considering to subscribe. Please leave feedback, suggestions, or corrections in comments. And all the best on your journey. I'll see you in my next video.